Nice.
कुछ सेकंड डिले होता है शायद।
रुक जा. Hmm.
Right?
Yeah, we should probably mute.
Hello. Hi everyone. Hello. So good afternoon everyone
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Sera Sera's virtual production studio. Very warm welcome to many of you present here. My name is Sera Sera, and I'm the director of Sera Sera. So, basically, Sera Sera, our company is one of it would be 60-degree media and entertainment company. We are one of the largest digital service providers in India, and the first Indian company to be a producer, distributor, and exhibitor all together. So we are currently present here, which is India's first and largest virtual production studio, and the only studio that is present in Mumbai right now that is servicing in virtual production. Largest virtual production
Understood.
Largest virtual production in the sense that we are having 4 floors here, out of which 3 are equipped with LEDs and one is specific green screen floor that is a live office. So with me today I have
Hello. Hello. Yes. So I would like to introduce our team with us today. Is Mr. Nicholas Jones.
Hello, hi everybody. I'm going to use the microphone.
Yes. So, who is among the biggest names when it comes to virtual production direction in the UK? He has directed more than 25 projects, including commercials and music videos that are completely shot with the help of IT. So, Nicholas, welcome to India and thank you for being a part of KSRS seminar.
Thank you very much.
Our next member is Ms. Gautami Vejiraju. So she is a director of photography and a virtual production specialist. She was also the cinematography mentor for Epic Games Unreal Engine Women Creators Program and Epic Games Unreal Engine WCP Fellowship, as well as member of the Visual Effects Society. Thank you both of you for joining us today. Our next leader is Mr. Vipul Baldi, right there. Experience 18 years in animation, film, television, production and post-production. 18 years as an animation and visual effects supervisor, currently heading both visual effects and virtual production division of KSRS. And last but among the most important is Mr. Pranay Singh. He is the country manager of broadcast and virtual production at Art Info Solutions Private Limited. A multiple award-winning VFX supervisor since 14 years, and some of his incredible work includes films and teleseries projects like Three Idiots, Bhootnath, Ramayan, and many others. Thank you once again, team, and our prestigious audience of cinematographers for joining us today at Virtual Production Studio. Let the seminar begin. Next.
okay. So the slides off.
Fantastic. Thank you, lovely. So, I'm obviously, I don't think I'm obviously the director of 2011. And 2.5 years ago, I thought, I heard of this whole technology, and I thought, that seems like an interesting and fun thing to do. And so I put my hand in my pocket and I shot film, the only LED stage in England. It wasn't really working, technology wasn't really right, but it came out okay. I thought, okay, this is quite interesting. Let's carry on. So then I shot more stuff, Some of the stuff I've shot has been used by the technology manufacturers to show how good the system can be, like Epic, Moses, Trackman, Sony Venice, all sorts of people. They use the stuff I've shot to kind of say, oh, this works really well. That's fine. I'm not about picking up my ego. I'm just a journeyman. I'm just a guy that does stuff. You know, I have fun. I don't take anything particularly seriously or myself. I just like working like you guys do, and I like to have fun and play around. So for me, it's been a kind of journey of adventure. And let's see where this goes. I'm not a technical. I don't know how to do anything except make a PDF. I literally can't operate any kind of technology. It's not my lab. Okay, what I do is I look at performance and I look at the overall job. Your job as DOTs is also to look at the things. It's also to look at how we look at models and color and all that. And I always think, let the people do best what they do best. So the DOTs, they do best and they do it best. Now in this situation, you've got a whole other layer of people behind this 50% traditional filmmaking. I'll show you something. 50% of this is traditional filmmaking, which as you can see is dolly, lights, cameras. There's another 50%, everything that goes on that wall there. And everything that goes on that wall there requires a whole other level of people, maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 people. And they're all the people who are making this digital world come to life. And they're all the people who are building those environments in 3D and CGI, and then lighting them and tweaking them and making sure they all work. And then there's a whole other bunch of people that do camera tracking, which is all these dots that you see around there. So when you do the camera, it all lines up in parallax and it looks perfect. And then there's another layer of people who may do the colouring, who may do the kind of up-resing, and then, so there's another whole bunch of technology guys. And the one thing that this system requires is patience and finesse. So the thing about this system, the thing that you all need to know, is you can get to 90% that's looking good quite easily. It's the last 10% that really takes time. And the last 10% can really frustrate you because you can adjust colour temperature. I don't know. He's got colour temperature on the digital wall. He's got to adjust that. You've got to adjust yours. He's got to adjust the focus on the digital wall. You've got to adjust the focus on the camera. So there's a lot of little tweaks, tiny little things, little adjustments, and some of the time you don't even know where they're going to work or where they're going to come from because it's just slightly unknown. It's a combination of digital, glass, technology, bit rate, flow, color temperature, 8 gig, 10 gig, 12, 24 bit color, lots of different things, the way the pipelines all work, and there's still quite a lot of discovery, but that can be fun, and it can be good and useful. The best thing to do is trust your instinct, and just go and do the fun. It's a new technology, it can work amazingly, it can also really fall down and give you a problem or anything else. It's good at some things, not so great at others. It's not a fix for everything. Don't imagine you'll be able to go, right, let's walk in there and choose everything at once. You can, but it will take you a long time. And the other thing that, talk about a long time, stop me by the way if I'm French. The other thing that takes a long time is everything is done beforehand. Now, I know that's a problem for some directors and some DOTs. The way this works is, some would say, okay, we have film, and we need to be in an office, we need to be in a kitchen, and we need to be in a jungle, right? Now normally you go, okay, show me pictures of offices, oh, that one will go shoot that, show me pictures of that. In this situation, you have a picture of an office, say, okay, let's get it, look around, then somebody has to go and build that digitally. If they build that digitally, that could take 3 or 4 weeks. Likewise the jungle, likewise the kitchen, likewise anything, you build digitally. So it works in pieces. Now, what that means is you have to decide beforehand when you're building it what you want it to look like. That's an important skill. There's the other skill, it's just like a recce. So you might go to a house and you stand in the house and you go, what time of day does the sun come through there? All right, it comes through at 1 o'clock. Digitally, you can go on your computer and you can look in the house and you can say, let's see what the sun looks like at 1 o'clock. Okay, let's see what the sun looks like at 4 o'clock. So you can move around, but these decisions you have to make beforehand. Okay, so you need to think beforehand. It's called previous. It's called imagining everything beforehand, making a decision. Now, that's really handy, good for you guys, because you can make those decisions. So I want it to look like this. I want to have gold now all day long. I want to have darkness with a little glowing light all day long. You can decide all that beforehand. So it's a really creative way of thinking too. But you have to get your mind into freezing. You can't walk into a set and go, blah, 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 blah. You have to do it all beforehand. Now that can be difficult for some, but it means making decisions. And it means making decisions early rather than late. If you do that and you're comfortable, you can still adjust things when you get here. I don't, you turn those off, please. Can you turn those off? Can you turn those off? Can you turn those off? It just means you've got to make those decisions right. But then you can still play around. You can still go inside your location digitally and move things around, move the furniture, move the windows, move the lights, move the things, before you get it. And that's great fun. You can do it in a studio like this, you can do it online, whatever. And also you can build whatever you want to build. You might think, you know what, this kitchen feels really small. Let's put in another half a dozen windows, let's make it 5 times longer. Digitally, they can do that. You can have the dream location. But you have to start thinking about it beforehand. You have to be more creative rather than less creative. You have to be more confident in your decisions rather than less confident beforehand. Okay? And I like to think I'm quite confident in my decisions. I mean, I can see, I have an instinct to like, that's right, that's wrong. And I think there is an expectation. But it just means you're locking everything down beforehand. And also it means you're in a secure, comfortable place. In pre-business scene, you're happy, you've got the idea looking at how you want it, and so you're happy, you're confident. You're not walking in and going, you're actually confident in what it's going to be. So pre-biz testing is really important. I would traditionally say if you're shooting any 1 or 2 scenes, you want to be testing. So normally what I would do is I would do a test day. Run, put it on the wall, look at it in the studio, think about it on the camera, send away, make these changes, come back a few days later, put it back on the wall, bring in your props, bring in your lights, set it up, look at it, make all those adjustments. Then it's done. And then you come the next day and you shoot. You can leave it till all on one day, but you just need to really know how it all works to be able to do it. So I've shot 4, 5 scenes in one day, but I've actually tested them all beforehand. The other thing that's worth remembering to you guys is wide lenses and the floor is different. Tight lenses, easy. When you start seeing floors, you have to match the floor and the colour of the floor to the digital. Now that can work really well. You can get it to work really cool. You would not believe you were. How do you do that? But it's again, a little bit of time, and that's why you test it. And that's why this sand is here. They're going to show you later the scene with the car and the forest and the greenery. Where the kind of match the floor, you've got to look quite good. And you go, okay. We didn't have to drive for 3 days up a mountain. We did it all in the car. But so. Always bear that in mind. Wide is the floor, is more work, more props, more art department, what's going to go on the floor. And building sets help sell the background. Tighter, easier, better. Darkness works quite well as well. Always darker, touchy, quite nice. Bright daylight can be tricky. So these things with LEDs, you can't really do a hard punch of light. Just about get there, but you can't do it. These totem things on the side, you use those to bring in and show reflection. But they this and that all run the same scene. If you've got a 3D scene in the computer, the back of the 3D scene is on there, the ceiling is on there, and the sides are on these. So if you're standing someone in like a suit of armour or something shiny, all of that is all around them. So they're real, so they feel real, they're in a real environment. And that's the other reason this thing works. It immerses everyone in what they in the real scene. And that's where you want to get to. You get to a feeling where that person is actually standing in that environment. And it's not difficult. I've done it a few times. Perhaps we should do this moment now. Can you show people, I'll show you one thing I shot, which we did all of this in 2 days in a studio in Poland. If you could get it to, will it run? Have a look at this. You shot all of this in 2 days. Should have the sound of jumping a little bit. Everything you're seeing here behind the woman is digital. Everything in the foreground is real. It's jumping a little bit because of the playback, don't worry about it. You see how he goes through different places? Now you would never be able to do this shot on top of a wind turbine. But you know, it's pretty convincing. Now we're in a futuristic environment with a test. You can see some of it looks, you know, real, some of it's digital. You go to the wall, you go to this place, which is a station platform. Background changes. There's that door, and that goes into the jungle. And then at the end, you'll see how you can see how we pull back into the real studio. Do all of that, all of that, all of that. We'll see it again. We have it. I've got loads more. But that, so for example, that it looks kind of weird on here, but on a normal TV screen, you know, that looks like most of those real places. It's very convincing, right? Who thought it was convincing? Yeah, yeah, come on, more response, guys. So that was all done in the studio, just like this. So it is all possible, it's all easy, but the process is build the scenes, look at them, test them. Bring in the art department, look at it, test the lighting, then shoot. So that was 2 days. I think there's 5 locations in there. You know, and you can do crazy things like you can go to an airport, but you'd never be able to shoot in an airport with an aeroplane. It's just a nightmare. But we just put it here, right, standing on top of a wind turbine. Really difficult. You'd never be able to do that location. Did it in here. And that budget was pretty small. So there are amazing things you can do, but you need to be, number one, very practical in terms of your timing and how you work the workflow. And number two, let your imagination adjust and try things. So it's a good combination of both, but it means making decisions. Yeah? Anything else? You kind of get it. Has anyone actually shot any of this? Yeah? No? Okay, great. So we'll show you some stuff. Do you have any questions now? Because we'll now start to show you what we're going to do. Any first questions up? Just shout fire away. Anything? Come on. Don't be shy. No? How many days for that? We did so there were basically 2 days in the, now she's doing like an outdoor scene where people are having coffee. And then now she goes to a science lab, which again would be an impossible location to get into, but the amount of props in that is really small, everything else is digital. And now she goes to the difficult location, this place, which is on the bloody oil rig in the middle of the sea. Look. Now that would be an impossible location to shoot in. And then she goes to a desert, which she struggles with a little bit, the colours coming back a bit funny on the playback here. And then she ends up going to the sky, shooting star happens, you come back down, and she's back in the same place she was at the beginning of the night time. So again, a couple of locations that are very difficult to shoot in. And that one again, that was actually really quick. We did that one in 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks from beginning to end. But any questions on anything else before we do some stuff? Anything else? Anything else? Anything short? You sure? Okay, great. Say again. You can't see me. You don't want to see me, I'm ugly. You'll see me in a minute, don't worry. Okay, so we have one slight thing, is that our monitors haven't turned up, but they will do shortly. And then you'll see what everything looks like through the camera. Because this is where you want to be looking. But they'll arrive at some point, because there was a technical problem, they didn't wire them. But for now, we'll show you how we'll put all this together. Shall we do that, boys and girls? Okay, sure. So first, okay. So, sorry, my mistake. So first of all, let's turn on 3D asset onto the back wall. Guys, can you turn on we have a, first up, it's going to be a living room / kitchen environment, and we're trying to make this feel a bit advertising. So it's like classic advertising, like very, what they pop, things are a bit poppy, a bit clean, a bit product, orange juice in the morning. And let's put that asset up. I'm interested if you want to see me. That's very nice of you. Okay, so he's launching it now. And what's interesting is this is all real time. So you'll see how this is all happening in real time. So that's roughly what it looks like. But we'll make it a little bit better and change it. And again, this is the digital, we've built this in the digital world. And not quite there yet. And everything can be changeable. So for example, when I came, the sofa wasn't orange, the carpet wasn't stripy, and I said, let's add some stripes, let's change the colour of the sofa, let's put something behind the windows. Not quite loaded up right yet, has it? Yeah. So basically this is more or less roughly what we'll be working with. Now, this little thing here is important to see. This little box, which I'll talk more about later, this is what's called a frustum. It's got a funny name, frustum. You'll hear a lot about that. What that is, it's basically what the camera sees and what goes on the monitor. And what that's doing, you're going to see, that's rendering everything in 4K. That's the computer rendering what the camera sees in 4K, which is captured into the camera through the lens, no trickery, straight in through the lens, and straight onto the monitor. Everything outside of the frustum is rendered in a lower quality. And the reason for that is that that render outside in a lower quality uses less processing power, but it provides you with all the lighting and all the reflections of the real world that goes around it. You don't need to see all that in perfect crystal vision, you just need to have it there to encompass the actors and to encompass the scene. So you can adjust the front of big and small depending on the lens size, and you'll see that. But that's one of the first things to think. You can't really quite see it, but it's just here. It's this little box here. I will show you it later, but it's this little box there. And at the moment it's quite small, but later it will be bigger. So as I say, this is a 3D scene, and you can do whatever you like with it. Build it whatever colour you want, however you want to see it. And like all of those things I just showed you, they all started off like this. This has all been made in Unreal Engine. You can make stuff in lots of different programs and then get them into Unreal Engine, or you can just make stuff in Unreal Engine. Now I'm no techie guy, but the guys who build stuff in Unreal, if they're good, they can make this shit look amazing. If they're not so good, you get a bit of trouble. But your asset, as that's known, is one of the most important things. Without that, everything else kind of falls down. So number one, make sure the people building your asset are good, trustworthy. Ask to see some of their work first. Okay, what's their work like? What does it look like? Then have a conversation with them, see if they're okay, make sure they're learning. Then, okay, fine. Then go online with them and look at the asset online on a Zoom call, and just get them to just look around, look in the room. You can go in the room. You can go. I want. Okay, try this. Move the lights. Move this. Move that. Let's put something else behind the windows. Everything here is changeable. So you can have a city outside. You can have daylight outside. You can have clouds outside. You can crush the light in this room completely. You get rid of all the pictures. Move the sofa. change it all. Put a donkey in the room. You know, well, I don't know. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. And that's one of the skills, one of the pieces. But it's also one of the dangers because you can overload stuff. And you can't do everything. Everything has to be optimized and run through the system. But you can play around with it. But don't ask the impossible. All your, as a DOP, all you're trying to get to is realism or kind of level of fantasy. And just remember that. Don't push it too much. Yeah? Just get to a point where you're happy that it looks pretty real. Yeah? Because there's lots of stuff you can do in the studio. And also remember, a lot of the time, you won't even be seeing some of this. You'll only be looking at that little square in the middle, which will see what what the camera normally sees. So don't go mad about all the details around it you never see. It's only the bit in the middle you're into. The overall look is the bit in the middle. Now, what I showed you before, when the lift doors opened and the girl walked in that scene, for example, those were 2D plates of skyscrapers. So there was, in Unreal, we had built an office and glass walls, and outside of that, in the distance, were 2D plates. And the reason for that was we didn't need to have big 3D buildings, digital, because they were so far away, when you move the camera across, parallax was just enough to get the feeling of realism. And plus they were real, so and it made it seem lighter to run. So that's another thing worth remembering, it's called performance. Performance is how the scene runs in real time digital. It should be running at 25 frames a second. And sometimes if they're too heavy, which meaning there's too many lights, too many assets, too much stuff going on, it won't run very well. So when you put the camera in, you move the camera, it won't work, it doesn't want to run very well. And so optimizing things and making them run at 25 frames a second. Again, for now in the digital world, to see how it's gone back to digital is important. So your guys who are running the digital thing are your friends, they're never your enemies. You have to make them your friends. Because they want to make your life difficult. Buddy up to your digital guys and work with them. So for example, I'll take this moment. So for example, when I work with the DOP, I work with in London, what we do, first thing he does, we do, is we get the digital guys, we go and sit in there with them. And we go and sit in the room and we look at what they've built. We've done it all online as well, but now we're with them, we're in face to face, and we sit and we look at it and look, then we put it up on the wall, and then we bring them out and sit there and talk to them about it. They're our friends. And they can, I see what you mean, yeah, let's change that. That would be better, let's move that away. Make them your friends, work with them. And they're really important, because they're the guys who are going to make your work look really amazing. And I know sometimes it's difficult to say to someone else, thank you very much, you're as amazing as I am, but trust me, the more love you give them, the more love you'll get back. And it's really important, because they could click a button, and you know, I've been in a situation where somebody built a scene, and there were like weird flashing lights somewhere in it. It took them a day to find where the flashing lights were, because they were buried within the scene. And that's because the guy who originally built the scene did it on purpose, to fuck everyone up. Yeah. So you've got to make them your friends. So that's what I'm saying. They can do things, and you know, they're not mean, but it was just the way the job went by. But anyway, so there's the digital asset. You've got that now. Any questions about that? Have I made everything clear in a way, vague? Any questions about it? Come on. Any questions? Good. Come on. Show some love. Nobody, you want to see my face again, do you? Any questions from this side? Come on. No? Anything? No. Okay. All right, then we'll push on. So we have a digital scene, which I've explained about, and how you can play with it, adjust it, colours, da 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 da. And then what we'll do is we'll bring on the props, which will hopefully kind of match the scene. So let's bring on some props and put them in the scene. Say again? Yeah, sure, yeah. Dr. was going to explain, she's good.
Thank you so much.
Come on.
Yeah, no, but I think also for like thinking a lot. sort of thing.
No.
So guys, what we're going to do, sorry, so this is one of the scenes that we're going to be showing you with live action and all that stuff. But what I really want to do is to demonstrate, as we are the TV community here, is how do we actually manage our virtual scenes? You know, like how does lighting work in Unreal? How do you, like, you know, what kind of controls do you have? How does the virtual camera work? You know, because as DPs, that we are actually responsible not just for the, you know, art set over here, but then we have responsibility of everything that's virtual. So a little bit of a demo with the outdoor scene that we have, which is a free market space asset from Unreal Engine. I'm going to on the camera. Then you can actually see the cluster that is coming. I'm not going to move the camera as yet, but at least demonstrate to you guys what all can be done. Okay, so we're just going to switch over to a different environment. I'm going to get my camera to the center here. So, Grips, Suhail, Ajay Baba, Amity, Dinesh, मुझे यहाँ पे tripod दीजिए। सर, वो कैमरा यहाँ पे आएगा।
It's interesting though, right guys? It's interesting, and trust me, it won't take over traditional filmmaking, because it can't. Because there's things you can't do with traditional filmmaking. But the slice of the pie will grow. And more production will say to you, can we shoot this virtually? Will it be easier? Will it be cheaper? Like, do we have to drive? How can we go to a jungle, the top of a wind turbine, and an oil rig in one day? You can't. It's impossible. Forget about it. That costs $1 million. You can't do it like this. You do it in 2 days. But you have that. Then you'll be asked to do that. And then so it's good to know how it works. You'll still have traditional filmmaking. And trust me, the camera, the lenses, everything's all the same. Nothing really changes. The studio lighting is all the same. But you have to blend your knowledge of cameras and lighting in this world into the knowledge in that world. And that's the skill. Skill is in blending. In blending. You have to work with other people and try to get them to adjust the background. And that's the skill. Like I said earlier, you can get to 90%, it's that last 10%, which is kind of difficult. You've got to really just tweak and adjust, then you get there. But just bear that in mind. And I think we're going to do this now. We're waiting. I think I'll have the monitors arriving. I think maybe I'm not sure. Work in progress.
But as a DP, I would just like to demonstrate the power of Unreal Engine very easy to you guys before I start getting into hard sets and physical sets and virtual sets. Um, yeah, can we have the asset on, please?
Finally, the mic is yours. Audible now?
All can we please have the asset?
Have some assets. So the whole idea is generally if the director wants to shoot something, let's say for example Kerala Kapur, let's say Himachal Pradesh Kapur village. That is a specific location that he has in mind. He says that there could be a specific location to shoot them. So the idea is basically our team generally go down over there, we can scan the location for you. We do a LiDAR scan, we do a photo grammetry. We get that asset, that same location, we get it over here on the floor for you guys. So if my camera was there on the actual location, how it will go to the actual location. And if my camera is here and if the asset is over here, how it will work, I'll just showcase that to you. So you get a better idea, better understanding of how my focus, my pan, my tilt, my parallax, everything works.
It's worth mentioning just at this stage as well is that this technology is really only 2.5, nearly 3 years old. So it's still developing, and I'm sure, and that's why the reason you guys are here, you've all heard about it, but as before, practically none of you actually used it, shot it. And it's still growing, and it's still in its infancy, and there's still lots of developments happening, And one of the things is LIDAR scanning and photogrammetry, as you said, so that's a relatively new thing, where you can go and scan something with a phone or whatever, and bang, you can get it into this world. So that's a new thing. There's all sorts of things like AI and stuff all coming on. Let's turn off the house light, please.
Okay, fine. So, as my camera is getting set, okay, guys. So just as Nick explained that everything is in infancy. In fact, in India, it's like just getting started sort of a thing. So there are going to be a lot of learning over here. So even if people are experienced, they've done one or two projects that like we still have all these things happening. Like communication is a very important thing because if I'm not able to communicate to my virtual team and my camera team, this is what will happen. Things will be on, my camera is not on. So what I just ask of you guys is to have incredible patience with this technology because it takes a lot of time to get it right. But when we get it right, it's nice. That's all I can say. So just please give us a bit of time to just come, please, silence the room. And can I just have a mic for the voice? Okay, questions now? Okay, can I just start with you? Can you guys hear me? Am I audible without the mic? Yeah. Thank you so much. So, let's hear please. Uncle? Here we are. Okay. So now this is one of the assets that we have here. All right. I would like to start. Okay, so this is just little away that like just generally little away and stuff like that. But if I say that I want to kind of change my life, like this is Sunday, it's like an afternoon tea, judging by the channels. Let's say I want to kind of use this asset, but I'm not too happy with the way it's an afternoon scene. Maybe I want it to be like a slightly just pre-twilight scene. So how do I do that? Like how do I write it digitally in that way? So, Uncle, start moving my head. So the philosophy of writing in Unreal with the heart is very simple. Okay, you have all the light actions, equivalents of the light, whether it's the natural light or electrical in Unreal. So what we're going to do is that the sun, see, if you see, you can actually use that. So what we're doing is we're using the sun here to kind of, light up the space the way we want. The shadows are also real time. So generally, you probably have to like change, wait for the render, change, wait for the render, but this is all happening in real time. So that is why Unreal Engine is an extremely powerful tool for filmmaking. Okay, can we turn on? So this is what because the sun, the equivalent of the sun in Unreal is called a directional light because sun, as we know, is a force which is directional. Okay, so when we use the sun, it can actually give us kind of twilight or the afternoon or morning, whatever it is, when we actually perform into the place and maybe it will be foggy. If you want to get the sun down, can we just turn on the fog?
Turn off the fog.
Yeah, so you just see how interactive this is. Let's say your four machines are not here, but you say, okay, I don't want to copy that, I'll just go without four. Just turn on the four and start shooting. That's what I'm thinking. Let's do one thing. Can you get my so now the way we have in our natural environment, we have the sky atmosphere, then we have the fog and all that stuff. So what we're going to do is that now we just saw how we could play with the sun. Now I'm going to play with something called the sky atmosphere where I can brighten the entire scene behind with my light and pull it down. So let's pull down the sky atmosphere.
Pull down the skylight.
Okay, so let's pull down the skylight and show them what's going to happen. already have a skylight now. Yeah. Now you see, the moment I got the sky and got the skylight now, you already have something that's looking a little illumination already. Though the direction light is still like soft shadow, but this is a process that we keep iterating to get it right before we get it on set. Okay, so now we've kind of got this down a little bit. Now can you put the fog in?
Add fog.
Yeah, now you also see now when the once I put the light down in, and so this is kind of updating a little, this is updating here, and it takes some time to update over here. So this is what happens if I put my skylight down. Can I have fogging?
Fog it.
Can you see the fog is kind of getting updated over here, slowly, slowly? Okay guys, now the direction light, can you just bring down the intensity and change the color temperature to like a moonlight sort of thing? Make it like, pretty much blue and bring down the intensity of the skylight. Sorry, the direction light. As I said, you have to have patience with this technology because everything is basic, everybody is learning. So, but that's what is required from us as CPs. Well, reduce the intensity, please. I see the way that light is changing real time. So basically, if I want something like a twilight, then I can change. So you have the sky dome over here, so you can actually change the sun direction, up and down, around the face like this, so that you can actually get what you're looking at. So this is very rough lighting. It's just like all the light that we're doing, but this is what happens. Like suppose you have like let's say half the day is in daylight, but it's the same location. Okay, and you can also do half the day waiting for night time. You can actually in like maybe an hour or get everything sorted, and then change your lighting, and then you can like within 1 hour you can actually have a turnaround and start working.
So I just to jump in.
Yeah.
So everything we're sort of showing here is what I was talking about previous. So you would do all of this on a monitor on a computer just at home or even with one of the guys looking at the TV going, let's try golden hour, let's try daylight, let's try this. Or the script might say golden hour, nighttime. And you then just got to make it work, feel happy with it. When you're happy with it in Unreal, on a computer screen, then you bring it in here, and then you look at it, and then you match it match this your foreground lighting to that lighting. And of course you adjust the background, the foreground, you adjust it, but in previous you would make all these decisions about what looks best. A bit of fog, no fog, golden hour, what kind of golden hour, very orange, less orange, all that kind of stuff. You do all of that beforehand. So all that time is gone. You don't need to worry about it. And you come in here and you match that in the screen. You could do, like I say, you could do a day, you could do it at night time and golden hour in one day, rather than wait and all that equipment taking there, and suddenly it starts raining. Do all this, all control.
So, Anshul, can you just still get the intensity of my direction light not go down? So we have the concept of the sunlight. Yeah. So see, basically, when we use this light, it's a powerful tool for logistics. It's a powerful tool for turnaround time. It's a powerful tool to basically do everything in pre-production rather than like second guessing with coma, acha mera VFX ka either रह गया है, all that stuff. So basically, see, traditional VFX is never going to go. But this is just an added tool for us as filmmakers to kind of enhance what we're doing. So now you see, it's almost night. So within seconds you can actually like day, afternoon to a night. Maybe the moon is high. So you can actually change your light. So as it's updating, you can actually see the changes that are making. So we're getting there. So this is basically what as CPs we need to understand that whatever I'm doing there over there is real time, and whatever I do here should be like almost a perfect match. Just because, see, 100%, trying to achieve 100% is not going to get, it's going to take a lot of time. But as DPs, when we are fast around 90, 95%, we could like, get it in camera VFX and then 5% we get it to 3D. That's how it works. Okay, so here we have a night time. You guys thought that we started off the day and now we're at night, which is like let me just put the camera on and show you what the custom is, and then Vipul and Pranay can actually explain the entire post-production process to you, how it works. Okay, boys, come. Is my camera on? Can I see some stuff?
I'll show you something more in this. I guess if the director wants to move some element from the scene, like for example a tree or something, you can do it real time.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you just okay? Is the camera blocking anybody's view? Because I think this is important. Can we get the camera that side?
So here you can see if I want to move a tree, I can just pick it up, a particular element, I can just rotate it, I can just place it where I exactly want to.
What is that? I just put the custom that you can explain. Thanks for.
Just one second.
Yeah, so you remember that little small thing that you saw over there in the dining space, which was all the custom? So basically, this is parallax. So I can actually move, as I move my camera, this kind of updates into focus. So basically, all you just need to see is what's in the custom. What's outside is not rendered. What you see is what the camera sees is the custom.
It's your viewfinder view.
Yeah, the viewfinder, like your say basically what the camera sees. Yeah, so please go ahead.
So we just saw the tree. I can scout the location as well. Like for example, like I told you guys, Kerala ka koi village or Himachal ka koi village, some specific kind of location that you have in mind. We can, like this location itself is like the actual location for me. I can scout inside, I can go, I can place my camera where I want to, and I can plan the shots. It's called virtual writing. This camera is moving on. We will get to the tracking. Pranay will be explaining the tracking.
What is explaining is what we're doing is what you would do if you were to go to this location in Australia, you would go, yeah, I don't like that tree, let's move it. But you can't, because it's a real tree, but here we can move it. And likewise, you can go, let's see what it looks like down the road. In Australia, you have to drive down the road here, you do it digitally like this. Let's see what it looks like over there. Okay, I'm liking it that distance, let's point the camera to the sun. So this sort of like digital recce. But again, as I said before, you do all this online in your computer. You compose all the shots online before you even come in. I think it's still adjusting when you're in here, but it's like you make a storyboard in previews. You visualize everything beforehand. And the beauty of that is there's no surprises for production. So you can say, I want to be down the road, pointing over there, without that tree, and I want the leaves to be falling, and I want it to be like a strong gale force. So we can turn up the wind here, and everything will be blowing. And then when you get to the set, studio, production know you want a wind machine, you want buckets of leaves, and you want the talent to run down the road with all the wind and all the leaves and all the trees blowing. You got it. You're not surprising them on the day, and they're going, where's the wind machine? Where's the leaves? You've done it all beforehand. So it's like that, it's that thinking in advance and letting everyone know what you want to do. Scoping it out. Just like you would normally, but now it's guaranteed to happen because you've done it in here and made it the best look you possibly can.
So yeah, so let's just show them some photos of literally kind of how you do it. We'll come to some of the and then explain how it happens. Let's just camera back here so that we can explain tracking.
So you guys must be thinking that if my actual camera is moving, how is the background moving? So we have a tracker in place that's called NCAM. You can see these pointers, they are up everywhere. So what this NCAM does is basically creates a point cloud data and it tracks. Like for example, on a chroma, you must have seen these pointers, right? The plus points. So generally, in the post, what we do is we have this tracker of track marks, we do it in post, we track them. According to the help of that, we track it, and we get the data of the camera home. But here, with the help of NCAM, it's basically tracking real time.
If I can just jump in and try and explain it better. So how it works is, imagine the stars in the sky. And imagine in the old-fashioned way, you look at the stars and you know where you were. because you're looking at the stars and you've got that geometry in Earth. It's the same thing. It's looking at the stars in the sky and telling the camera where it is. But what it's doing is it's telling the camera where it is in both the real world and the digital world. So when you all probably, some of you play computer games, right? And you know when you play a computer game and you press run forward and the little guy runs forward and shoots someone, or you turn around like that and it shoots, well, it's the same principle. That's the world, and instead of you being the first person shooter, it's the camera. So when you run forward with the camera, or when you turn left with the camera, it's doing the same thing, but it's telling the information from here where it is in that world. So instead of it being inside a computer or under a TV, it's in the real world live, and that is connected to this, which is connected to that world. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's working in the computer world and the real world. Does that explain? And it's quite important because what it does is it makes, when you move the camera, it moves the background equally, just like in real photography. So when you move the camera in real photography, it's parallax effect. The foreground moves quicker than the background. And this does the same thing. We'll show you when we put the camera on the track, you'll see it. But that's how it works. It basically tells the computer, move the background as I'm moving the camera in the right way for it to look real to the human eye. It's quite clever. But that's basically what it does. And it updates quickly and fast. So when you move it, it's and that's sort of the easiest way of thinking of it. It's telling the camera from the digital world and the real world, and making tying the two together through the track. And there's lots of different systems. And the other thing that also controls, it works in principle with the lenses, the lens calibration. It also so when you put a new lens on, you'll calibrate the lens in Unreal, so those 50, 75, 100, 500, tell the tracking information, because on a longer lens, it knows to move the background in a different way. But if it's on a wider lens, it knows vision, whatever's, or you know, anyway, they've done the work. They're in there, and you can just click through them and find the ones you want. They've got on one of those. And I can shoot stuff in anamorphic. You can shoot stuff in any kind of way. It doesn't really make much difference if the computer knows where it is. But it's important to remember for you guys, because that information is what makes it look real, the parallax. And the other thing worth mentioning, just at this point, we're still waiting for our monitor to turn up. I don't know if you can see this, but in here, this is actually what the camera's seeing, which looks different to the human eye. So always look at your monitors rather than that. Now, sometimes that and this match. It just depends on the processing, the way it's working, the signal, the quality of the flow. But you should always be looking at the end result of the monitor. And we will have some more monitor for you. That's what's going on to the car. What you see here is what's going on to the car. Now, you can grade this obviously after the mover, pretty much everything you do. And you can see the colour is different to what's there. It looks much moodier, and that's also what he's talking about. So when you say brighter, you need to look at this as well as that, and marry it to it. We'll show you more later if you put it all together. But if that helped understand a little bit more about sort of the technology and how it all works. Yeah? Yep. Good. A question, good. Another question, love question. What hardware are you using? Well, on this one, they're using NCAM, but there's systems called TrackMan is good, Moses is good, NCAM, the OptiTrack, there's quite a few of them. And they all work in a very similar way. I couldn't say which one's best because I'm not a tech guy, but some people say one works better, some works better. Moses works in a different way. They all do the same thing in a slightly different way. It's really your preference. They all require a little box on the camera, and sometimes, you know, DFPs you probably find it a bit annoying, but they're not very big, and they sit on the camera. Normally Steadicam guys are fine with them. If you go handheld, it's just a little bit of extra weight, but not much. No, not much. And they're all wireless. Yeah. Yeah.
How is define the numbers? More the better or
In terms of the numbers of track points,
yes.
it depends on the system.
More the better.
Yeah, yeah. It depends on the system. You a lot is what you want because then it knows exactly where it is. But you know, yeah, you can't. I wouldn't. You don't want too little. With that.
So yeah, you need to understand one thing. I'll just jump in.
Yeah.
So this camera is my main camera. The camera inside my software, and the software, that's my shadow camera. What it does is, whatever movement I do over here, it replicates the same thing onto that camera. So it copies the movement with the help of it. He'll explain.
Whatever tracking information, I mean, is given out from the physical camera that is controlling. So those are gathering all that and giving the control to the virtual camera. That's something that gives you control of the entire scene. So whether you're virtual or you're in a live view, it's the same scenario. And that's what you're requiring. To get more control over the workflows, we have encoders that are mounted to the focus and zoom, which also control the virtual set there. So that you're not just limited to this work with the movement of the camera, you can also mount on multiple different ways. It's like you're working on real life. In fact, what you like is, especially for the artist, and the people that we need, it's very difficult for them to realize the scene as such. But with the LEDs, the tracking solution together and everything, you know, they actually feel that they're the same, probably same scene as such. So this kind of creates a lot of realistic workflow also to make your life better. If you're talking about the training point of view,
We have a pipeline, we follow ACEs. But again, coming back to the LEDs, let me tell you, like my monitor will be calibrated, it will give you like the right final out. But sometimes my camera behaves like if I have red, it will have more say magenta at it. So it will give you a different look. So there might be green, but on there it will be blue. So it is always better to have a look at your reference monitor. That is your final out. Or the main camera monitor.
Yeah.
Not there.
And there's another thing that you guys probably should be super aware of, and that is the whole color science, the whole color balance. So screens are made of LEDs, and they're all controlled by processors. Processors run, depending on the studio, processors do different things, run slightly different color balances. Cameras, you know, some cameras are slightly warmer, colder, color temperatures adjust. There's a lot of color worth looking at and thinking about. But as I say, what's in the monitor that you think about the straight. Now some studios, what you see on there and what you see in here can match. They've got the color science right. Or they've tweaked it so that it looks right. And there's still some debate about the correct way to do that and the correct way of doing it. As I say, it's early days. But basically, trust your eyes. Look at the monitor. You know, make sure you get the best monitor you can. Make sure you get a really good pixel studio like this, which is really good. Make sure the processor really up to speed, the best processors you can get. And shoot obviously on the best camera you can with the best lenses and the best chip. And then it really, again, like I said, previous, come in early, get it on the wall, see what that combination looks like in here. So you can see how, you know, that is a better version of that. It's darker, it's bluer. Obviously, you can play around with it, you can adjust it, and we've just thrown it up there. I mean, that's the other thing, just throw the stuff up. Infinitely adjustable. So you can make this grayer, darker, bluer. But you see what I mean? It's just how you want it to look. But the color science is the thing that is worth really thinking about. And people can get bogged down and obsessed with it and go all the way down. Like Sony Venice in London, in Pinewood, they've got a Venice 2, which is hooked up to some Sony crystal LED panels, which are brand new things, they're not even on sale yet. And the pipeline colour from that to the panels are exactly the same. So that sort of matches, and it looks pretty good. I've been down to it, they invited me down and have a look at it. Some of the people who will pop up a studio, not here I might add, but other people, they will use pretty low-grade panels. And the low-grade panels are basically the ones that you use for, like, outdoor entertainment, like a cricket match or a rock concert or a football field. The pixel pitch is huge, and the color temperatures are weird, and they're made for outdoor events. The panel technology is getting better and better and better and better, and the ones here are really good. So always, if you go to another studio, ask what are the panels, ask what the processors are, ask what the camera you're going to use. Ideally, ask to see something they shot beforehand, and then make sure everything's to your like, and make sure it looks good in here on the day when you come and test it. And just allow yourself the time to play with it. You go more blue, more green, more red, more yellow, blah, 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 and try different color temperatures. And that's the thing. Do some of that beforehand, but when you're in here, now's the time to play with all those tools and see how you can get it looking around.
Hope your question's answered.
Yeah, another question.
When you load an asset, and then you put camera on any point on the floor, you have to set a zero like on an X and Y axis. So, is my question?
I didn't get that.
So, just say you load an asset.
Correct.
This is like when you load the asset, the road was straight.
Right.
Now the camera is moving maybe into the right hand, watching another side of the asset.
Correct.
So do I have to set a zero?
Not really. So I'll tell you what happens. Generally,
If you divide the set in X and Y axis, say, I know it's not 2D, but still, X and Y axis, so you have to set a zero that this is my zero, and now you find the.
I'll say. So what you do exactly is you have to see. Okay, now virtual camera. First, we mount the camera about the connect the connecting box. We got the encoder, the vertical zoom and the focus. Okay. We kind of calibrate it first with the lens. Okay. That process basically sets the ground and the either like a wall, something like that to understand. So it creates the 3D understanding for the virtual camera. And then, like I mentioned, it mimics within the position wherever it is, and it will accordingly move it, kind of set it up. So it's just a one-time process.
Once you load the asset, you have to do the calculation once and then.
Correct. Correct. Actually, not. Right.
Yeah.
You just set it up initially, okay, and then if you want changing your sensor, then actually you're going to camera.
Yeah, so like a studio like this, it's not going to move. So these tracking marks are always going to be in the same place. And mostly, the studio will have their own camera, their own tracking equipment. Or if they don't, you'll bring one in. The first job is to make sure that the tracking thing knows where it is in this world. Because then, as I said before, that world transfers to the digital world. And that won't change, because it'll always know where it is. Once it knows where it is in here, then you can put that into the digital world, and then when you bring that up, you can move that around anywhere you want. It doesn't really matter. You go left, you go right, you go down, you go back. It doesn't really matter, because it will always know where it is. But you can play around with things, but once it knows where it is in here, it will understand where that is, because the computer's telling it where it is. And the other thing that's in the computer, sorry to interrupt, is in the computer, so a lot of these scenes will be like a whole city, let's say it's got a whole city, and it's huge, it's full of buildings. And in the computer will be a digital representation of this screen. And we should actually try and show this. And in that digital screen, you can walk in the city without being in here and see what I love that. Bang, let's make that happen here. So you lock everything beforehand. When you come in here, it should look exactly the same, ideally. Because you've got all the distances and all the measurements and everything from the end to the second. It sounds more complicated than this. As I said, I'm not a techie guy, but I've somehow managed to figure out how it works. I'm sure you guys are all much more techy than me. guarantee you are. And so you'll have real fun, and enjoy that process. For me, I just leave the technology to people who know how it works, trust that it's going to work well, and don't get too angry. No,
I'll take that.
no,
I'll
no.
take that. So basically, what we do is when the camera comes in, alright. So I'm going to ask like a few things to keep like streaming in and looking at the volume control. So that little cabin there is called the volume control, where I'm controlling the entire end display. The what do you say? In Unreal, the digital representation of the screen, how it's looking there, and you can actually see what's happening in the volume control. Like there'll be a workstation which actually controls this. Then this talks to the Unreal workstation, which is the end display on my monitor there to see actually if everything is working all right. So I'd like to start inviting one by one, or maybe like a batch of 5 people that's small, to come and just see what the volume control looks like. Because as a DP, so when I have a virtual camera, I'm a camera team there. So as DPs, we have basically a physical team as well as a virtual team. So we as the people who are responsible for the image of the film, we have to marry these two teams and make them talk together. So that is where the communication comes in. So it's you have to monitor because the monitors are here. So that's great. Now let's have one people. Let's have a group there. Can you just take them through the entire volume control over there? So I've got my end cam, I've got my end display, I've got the monitor, and you can show them the processors as well that control the LED. Yeah, so once you see that, then you kind of understand how it all gets married over here and what we demonstrate here. And in the meanwhile, I'll get all my monitors and line up everything, and then we can start looking at words. Okay. Voice. All right, camera team. Can you call me the monitor tools and all that? Production दादा कहाँ पे है production कहाँ पे है?
Any other questions while we're waiting, guys?
Yeah. Why we do this demonstration? Any questions?
Is everyone all right? Yeah, go on, fire away. Not really, no, but you'll have to just reboot it to make sure it looks where they all are. But what you can also do, so I did remember that first thing we looked at where the camera was inside an elevator and the lift doors open? So that was actually a little box in the studio here, and it couldn't see the dots, so we just put some on the ceiling of the little elevator, the little room we were in, pressed a button so it recalibrated itself, we knew where it was. So it can happen quite quick, but again, it's knowing that process and having a studio that can get those things and figure it out and work like it. No worries. Okay, so we've got some other things coming in.
Give me 5 of them. I'm just going to start putting it here. If you guys cannot see anything, we'll arrange something else. Take it
Okay. Well, machine.
Come, let's get the other monitors, please. Sorry, I had to keep it calibrated monitors, which is why I couldn't have all those TVs happening, because I need you guys to see what's happening. Okay, can we have Apple boxes? Please? I get. Okay, we have. Yeah, I'm also getting to the monitor. So we have monitors there. My only request is that if you guys want to ever, see something closer, just stand up and see, because I have calibrated monitors. Yeah, so I'll just do that. Just give me like 10 minutes to organize this. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, so while, yeah, correct. So as you guys are going to there, coming to the correct. So I still have all that, I still have that. But I have one more option which is actually going to right, right, right. That's it.
Chair here, guys. Chair here. Chair here.
Okay, let's have the second set of five people, please. Come, so we're going row by row. Second set of five people, please. Come, just have a look. Any questions you have, I'll address them with you.
I think we should do the camera while you're trying to get this. Put the camera on the door. I'll put it on the door, yeah, because it's just going to get back. Put the outside on.
Can we have the next set of five people, please, in the front row? Come, let's get the next set of five people in, please. As you see, where's the next other people? Please be very careful of that. Yeah.
Yes.
First student, start second. So guys, in the meanwhile, what I'm doing is that I'm going to be calibrating my cameras in the two spaces. So just one circle of reading all this and I'm ready. So in between setups, this is what we need to do so that we get our real world experience down. Okay? So what we're going to see over here is demonstration. I think संदीप मूविंग हो गया? So basically what happens every time I get set up, so I have to go through all this. So what we do is I start basically location, that's the 21st of October. Okay, so basically now on the next backlog. So very busy with everything, it's very very busy. Because I got the exam home. Okay, so वो focus पूरा करते हैं. So basically this emotion is trying to create. So we call this homing. So they need all the data that I have here. So then this is basically the customer homing that happens. So now once we home this, we want to move on. So basically, sometimes what happens is that now we work in a very fast manner. Sometimes you have to attend to the camera, so that's what you have to copy again. So right now that's exactly what we do. So when we work with the vendors, we also have to give them even as some calculated that's why I'm saying it's a lot of this, but when it works, it works like user is just one way to that. Whatever I do. Okay? So yeah, people tell you. Okay? So this is one day of prep that this is what you're going to see. So just imagine if you extra days into like 4 days, 5 days, proper prep work. Yeah, just the potential is what I want to show. Some boys can you have my camera ready? Some please come please. Yes, sir. Yes, yes. सर्विस ऑन कीजिए सर्विस लाइट ऑन कीजिए संदीप now good for you yeah let's start yes go ahead yeah let's start too much of I will be taking all the question answers after we finish the demo. Okay? But I think maybe just have a look at the model. Yeah, just look and come back. Yeah. Just have a look and please. I do now. Just a general concept of volume control is applied.
Just getting this sorted, getting these plugged in, probably another 5-10 minutes.
Any questions from
Any questions, anyone, or go and have a look at the kit in there. These I'm working on. Any other questions? Sorry, I missed it. Go ahead. Yeah.
What happens to the unreal image I want to recording?
So everything you see in the monitor, in the camera, that will get stored. All the light. Talk about, yeah. Everything you see in here is everything that goes on the disc on the car. That's it. Yeah. Everything you see in the monitor, just like in normal shooting, goes on the disc on the car. Exactly the same. So what you're seeing on the wall and what you're seeing in the camera, that's what you get. Yeah. Working on that car.
The card is recording the drawing.
Yeah.
But
There's only one. There's only one. Yeah. It can be whatever you want it to be. It's the best quality you can get. 4K, 2-bit, 24-bit color coming through there, however you want it to be. That's just yeah, exactly. So that's why it's important that your asset is critical quality. They combine and they do. However, because you're recording all of this data, you can just like in motion control, you can get all of the camera data. So you can record all of the camera data where it is in the room, where it is in the real world, in the digital world. So you can use that, go into post-production, and then you can add and subtract and extend things wider and move things in and out, just like you would in the normal world. But for this purpose, that's all fine to run. But then the other thing you can do is you can also record off separately all of that Unreal footage on its own without the camera. So you can have the camera and the Unreal footage, the Unreal footage, and you can have all of the camera data as well. So you can play around with lots of different things. But then you can take things into motion. So you can play stuff, extend stuff, push it further away, drop things on top of it, just like you can normally. So what you can do, what you can do is you can do a pass to a shot with everything all working, everything all how you want it to be, then just turn it blue. Because just like it was a color, just turn it blue, shoot blue play. Then you can take your blue play and add whatever you want to it. And you can record your Unreal play, so you might want to adjust it or play it or regrade it or something, and then you put the two back together. So, this, yeah. You just switch that to blue. So that goes to a blue pack. Yeah. So you can have everything. You can have two combined through the lens, which is what you get. You can have the Unreal separate, and you can have all the camera data as well. And then you can do a blue pass, where you turn on blue, record the thing, and have blue pass, green pass, whatever you want. You can also, if you don't like some of the screen, you can drop in some blue squares. So for example, maybe outside the window, if you want it to be Venice. And but the Venice you've got digital, that's what really not sure about that. Just turn it blue. Then take it in post, put Venice out the window. Real life Venice. Yeah, you can just get where the windows are, whatever the background is, you can just say click that out, get rid of that. Just like when we move the tree, it's like that. But imagine you click the tree, you have make that tree blue and work on it later. But you're looking at a window, so click the window, get rid of everything outside, make it blue, I'll put that in after. And then you can do things like that. You can also use certain ceiling fans, which is some studios don't have ceiling fans. Some do. Sometimes it works, get away, sometimes it get away. The main reason for the ceiling panel is again it surrounds everything, it's all things. So in the 3D world, that world is also on the ceiling. So for example, when you're in a car and you have clouds moving in the background, the car driving, it all moves along there. So all the reflections on the car all match perfectly. All match perfectly. But what you can also do is you can put lights up there. You can put like a round digital light, like this. These you don't shoot against. You just use them for lighting because they're a lower quality LED, but they can give you quite a lot of strong light, a lot of nits. So you can talk and say, put me a light up there. They've got a white light, which you might want to build on top, or you can do that also in here. You can say, can you put me a big white light over there out of camera, but just coming through, so you can adjust and put things into the world just to help. Key on the desk. Everything you get in the camera, just like you would imagine going on location and you're in a set at a studio and you blew outside the window. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same. But you just key it close, key that in, put it outside the window. It's just a digital idea. But yeah, that's so you can do all of these same sort of things without having to go to the studio and put blue card up and put all those lights and all that stuff. The hassle. Yeah, it's all unique. Yeah, it's all unique. But you can also do things like I don't know, you probably didn't notice, but in that last video I showed you where she was in the desert, there was the guy flew a drone up in the air, and we just shot that live in the studio, which is, you do little things like, add things and all live. But equally, we did a part where we just shot it on blue, because we didn't like it. So we had the drone, we moved it back and stuff, we shot that on blue, turned it on blue, shoot the drone, okay, next shot. So you can kind of do all of that stuff on the fly. Ah. Yeah, it's built in separate parts anyway. It's all built separately normally, and that's how they built it. So you can change things. So you click things on, click things off, yeah. And it's all in different layers. The clients who build it really well know that, and they know that, you have to change it. They can't just say, go away and do that. They will say, oh, this you can do, yeah, you can do, yeah, you can do it anyway you want, yeah. Anyway, yeah. All you do is all green, blue, whatever part you want. And they put it all in a big, on a big blue. Sometimes, yes. No, it already have all the camera data. So you send the camera data to the post guys, and they'll interpret that and put in the background and go fluid. And the camera fluid knows where everything is.
Just get the living room set up on.
It's going into our building, so you get a camera data information on that tells you big about the post. I'm not the database, I think they can use it on this wire, but I've done it before. But basically, it's like a control, camera data, Z and all that stuff. I mean, knows better than it is. Somebody that technology is they can press it. Whatever function they use, if they're using unreal, you just transfer alerts and bang, bang. Some of them don't use unreal.
हाँ बोलो ना बोलो ना तुम्हारे पीछे मैंने फोन किया
Really, no. I mean,
हाँ बोला
you're tracking sometimes approximately per bit of work. And that's because everything's happening in real time. So it's telling itself where it is. And sometimes it just makes because it's fairly quick act, but you have to just let it know that plan and check it. It's the stopping that so I can't see it and the thrust is where sometimes it'll move and it won't that is the stopping that that's the bit yeah yeah it just has to calibrate itself and that sometimes but you can sort of get away with it mostly it's not see and big how are we doing now? Are we okay?
Well, are we done with this? Can we
Service lights off. Oh, exam Sachin. Sachin, just move the exam. Yeah,
Come and have a look out here because we need these guys to focus on what we're doing. Thank you. So guys, just sort out this agency. Okay, so where we are, we're back here. So as you can see on these monitors now, we're looking at what's on the screen and it's coming through the lens and everything you see there is coming through the lens and on this monitor. You can see So, haven't did anything in the foreground. We just show you we've got a kind of advertising digital asset. Okay, and you can see the difference between what the wall sees and what the camera sees. This is through the camera onto the monitor. So it's going through the lens, just like it would in a normal thing. Okay, so now, art button, please. Hello, art button. Yes, hello. Can we bring in the table and the chair and the plant into the marked spot, please? So now what we're going to do, we're going to bring in some foreground props and add them to the scenes. And here they will come with speed. Hundreds of people, nobody doing any work. Why have I heard that before? Why have I seen that before? Yeah? Come on, guys, hurry up. Where's the table? Where's the chairs? Yes. All this plan. They're building to sleep. You're lazy. Come on, guys. Good job. I'm very nice. I'm very nice.
Stop LED मत देना मेरे को वो 2%.
Sorry?
2% of stop LED. अभी नहीं. Come boy.
Okay, very good. Okay, so now we're bringing on again. You can't see them, they're not lit. But we're just showing you really how small the amount of stuff you will need to sort of make things to look okay. Thank you. All that stuff is the room. Please listen to what we're saying. Okay, fine. Okay, so so now you'll see a very few props, not very much at all. We've got a digital asset, which is giving us all the background. And you got quiet, you guys. And now we'll put on some lights, we'll light it up, and you can start to see how we'll blend foreground of the studio with the digital. So let's bring in some lights and add it over the lights, guys. And they're all still traditional lights, just like you would normally use.
Yes. कितना? 20%?
So as you can see, we're just putting it all together. It's not taking very long, and already you can see, it's coming together pretty quickly. And it would probably take you, if you've done enough work beforehand, and you've got a rough idea how to light a normal kitchen scene, which you probably all know, it probably takes 2 hours. But You're not driving trucks to a location. You're not running cables. You're not going up to the second floor. You're not parking. You're not burning carbon. Now, the other thing that's really good about this is sustainability. It's no carbon. And that's why all the advertising clients, and it's very important that you guys can shoot commercials, all the advertising clients are basically going mad for this because there's no carbon. So all the big record pizza, Unilever, petrol companies, all the big multinationals want to do this. There's no carbon. So they look good. So they look green. Even though they're still destroying the planet in lots of other ways, they look green in their advertising. So that's why if you're signed up to do some kind of cleaning product or Unilever or GSK, they'll go, can we shoot this commercial production? It's green. We're in here. We're not driving trucks. We're not flying anywhere. We're not Winnebagos up a mountain. We're doing it all here. And so that's why month by month, bit by bit, year by year, people will start doing it. Plus, you might like going on vacation, but you're probably only an hour, 2 hours from where you live. You know, so you could probably do 10 of these in a month, as opposed to 2, with all the traveling and all the hassle. You know, so it's actually more work, more money to be had. If you play that game. So as you can see, we're just putting it all together. Okay, so wait a second. Tell me what you have to do like a So, let's, we don't need to be on the set, please. Okay, so as you can see, we're quiet! Quiet, guys! So, as you saw, that was very, very, very quick. It's not perfect, but you would then finesse a little bit more, finesse a little more, finesse a little more. But what we've done is we've just tried to make a very advertising scene. This is like kids' breakfast cereal. This is like orange juice. This is like a classic kind of bland advertising. You know, which is you can do like that. You haven't had to go to like a judge. But if you wanted to make that blue colour, the colour of the product, no problem. You can change the blue. You don't have to paint any walls. You can change it. You know, if you wanted to make outside the windows Venice, again, you can do Venice. You see what I mean? So the versatility is really useful, and the speed is really useful as well. Now, the other thing you'll notice is we're not shooting the floor in this one. We're keeping it tight because we're going to save the floor space. But if you wanted to do a wide shot with the floor, you have a few more props, and you have a floor that matches the digital world. Now, two ways of doing that is the riser in the studio. Most studios have a little riser that helps you just get above the line of the floor, and you put whatever you carpet, whatever you are, and you match that in the digital world. When you're built, so when you have a storyboard, you go open on a wide shot, someone walking in the room, you go, okay, I've got a digital floor, what will that be? Probably like oak floorboards. Okay, I need oak floorboards in the studio. Packed it up, sorted, you blend it. Or you can just have the oak floorboards on this floor, matching that. There's two ways to do it. But we're avoiding that today, and I'll show you because it just that takes a little bit longer. That's a little bit more finesse. It's not difficult. I've done it 100 times. Worth remembering. You get the idea how quick. So, how are we doing in terms of can we have a lady? Where's another charming lady to be our breakfast cereal? Can we have a girl in our scene? Hello, actors, hello. Girl, coming, please. Charming lady. We don't want to land on his own, he looks weird. Actress.
Actress, actress.
Yeah. Can we have a lady, please? Come on. Anyone will do. Any lady from the audience. Doesn't matter. It's any old person. Okay. We won't keep. Okay. So, quiet, please, everybody. Thank you. So, go away. You happy? More or less. Yeah, more or less. So, there you go. Roughly, that took what? 10, 15 minutes. Pretty good, pretty quick. Very advertising, very plain. Okay. So now, what we talked about before with the parallax, what we'll do is we'll just ever so slowly track the camera, and you can see how the digital world and the real world combine, and the moving focus. So can you do a small camera track, please? And the guy, 3, 2, 1, will be eating some cereal, drinking some juice. Here goes the camera kick. Everything's moving in the right perspective. Everything's moving in the right plane. Go all the way around to the plant. We've got the plant in the form. No, there's the plant. Bring the plant. Okay. And you see now how everything ties together. And he pretty much looks like he's in that room, drinking his coffee. Focus has all been calibrated, the lighting's all been calibrated, he's reading his phone, he's drinking coffee, cue bouncy music, da 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 da, let's have some Nescafe, da 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 da, happy morning with a cool guy, gun, cut. You've got 3 seconds of that, that's all you need. Yeah, and then we'll show you, we'll jump to a tighter lens, so we can show you that as well. So 3, 2, 1, action, happy morning coffee guy. Yeah, delicious coffee. I love that coffee. What time is it? I've got to go. What's the time? Shit, it's my girlfriend. I've got to go. Put the coffee down, and we cut. You see what I mean? There's your cut. There's your shoot. Any questions? Oh, it's very silent suddenly.
Is it necessary to have the tracking parallel to so we can move in also?
You can go wherever you want. But we just got the camera on the dolly doing this sideways. We can go wherever you want. We'll show you what it is. But any other questions? How do we feel honestly about what you're looking at? Let's give you who thinks it looks pretty realistic? Yeah, we will check the lens. Who's saying what we're seeing? That we put it together in half an hour. Yeah? Yeah. You see what I mean? So it makes you guys look good because it's quick. Fans are gonna love it. You can play around with these and all sorts of things. Let's do another little camera shot. Let's see if we can get the guys to look angry this time. Yeah, wait 1 second. Let's do another practical bit. Okay. This time you're gonna be angry and upset. Okay, here we go. Don't worry, we'll be using the don't worry. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's get the we've got a girl. Let's get a girl in the shot. Come on. Jump in the shot. Looking beautiful pink. Amazing. We're just gonna have a girlfriend and boyfriend. Whatever. Don't sit next to the guy. Happy morning breakfast. Again, it's very advertising. We've got the bright colours, that kind of pastel colours. You know what advertising people like. They like bright colours. Yeah? Okay, so on action, we're just going to look at each other. On action, look at each other. He's going to have a drink of juice. Let's have the, yeah, you've got a glass. You've got a glass. Yeah. Just look to each other, have a little sip of juice. Here we go. So the client said, I want to see glorious their product in the shop. So, stand by, 3, 2, 1, action. Have a glass of juice, drink the juice, go for it. Look at each other, check the glasses. Okay, one time. Delicious. So we go back, keep talking, look happy. Somebody laugh, it's a big laugh. Ha 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 ha! Amazing. they feel happy, they feel fresh, they feel good. Anyone would think they're in their apartment. Okay, very good. They look natural, they're fine. The lighting looks realistic. Everything feels pretty good. It's very contemporary, shall we say. And you see how, when I mentioned parallax and tracking, see how when we move the camera, the background moves at the right pace at the right time, so it sells the image. And the foreground, so the other thing that really helps, you see this tree coming in the foreground, that really helps. One thing that really works well with this system is foreground, midground, background, and then the screen. Because there's three layers, when you move the camera, they all parallax together. So all of so you sell the digital parallax with the real world parallax. And as you see, when that tree moves, it's moving at the same pace as the background. So it's selling it all together. It's all blending together as one. You see what I mean? And it's out of focus, telling you that they're in focus. The foreground's out of focus, just like it would be in a normal world. Yeah? And if anything, for me, I feel like I would spend another half an hour maybe bringing down the light in the room a bit. It feels a bit bright behind them. Maybe I sharpen the focus a little bit, maybe it's a bit soft behind them. Those little details I would make. It'll take half an hour. But for now, let's swing a lens. So let's swing to a tighter lens, please. We're going on to 75 just to get a shot of the handsome man, because this is a handsome man fruit energy drink, remember, not a girly, girly drink. A handsome man, sexy energy drink. I don't know what I'm saying, but you get the point. Any other questions? I'll come down this end. So yes. What if we have a round road? Yeah, I'm going to show you around only in a minute. You can't go all the way around because you run out of swing. But if you had enough here, we could do that. Yeah. We'd ask for something to be built that big. There are volumes that have quite a lot of that. Yes, sir.
If somebody wants behind this window, how can you manage?
Like a person, people. Okay. So what you would do is you would build in the Unreal. You would build the scene with an animation in there. So it could be trucks driving, airplanes taking off, trees blowing. So they're all animated, they're all real, they're all believable. People, slightly more complicated, because the technology for meta-humans is quite heavy. So you can have one or two, but they use up a lot of the performance. So if you really wanted very realistic people, I would say go green or blue and drop something in after. If there's buildings, trucks, planes, easy, that sort of thing. But yes.
What about that light screen with Unreal on-set lighting?
Yeah, yes, it's all syncing. So how do you mean? So there are now systems where the lighting in Unreal will sync with the lighting in the studio. So, but what that means is the studio, all the lights have been especially DMX plumbed in via the DMX to Unreal. So the guy can control in Unreal the lighting. Normally Array orbiters is what people use for those, and they're all moving around a little bit. So you can actually change the digital sun and the real world sun using those. But there's not many studios with that. It's quite expensive tech. But there are some. Yeah, screen can go very bright or very dark. Yeah, you can have, all that. Yeah. And again, what it is it's doing it by your eye. Everything just, almost what I do is I'm not a tech guy. I just forget the technology and do it by eye. Just say that doesn't look right, and figure out what needs to happen to make it look right. Whether it's darker, whether you move the scene up and down, whether what color, and it's just sort of like that. It's just by your eye, just like you normally use your eyes in TV. You go, that looks shit. And it's the same thing when you're dealing with the digital. Okay, we on the time to lens. Let's have a look. There he is. There they are. So you can see the background's gone softer now because the lens has changed its focal length. They come a little bit sharper. Okay, let's do the move. So 3, 2, 1, enjoy. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going. You can see everything's moving as it was before, but we're just on a tighter lens. And if this was like a product shot, can we raise the glasses again, guys? Raise the juice up. Guys, raise the orange juice up. Look, chink the glasses together. Clean, chink the glasses together. 3, 2, 1. Chink the glasses. That's it. Chink, And the drink. So there's your pack shot, happy consumption. Do that again one more time. So guys, just 3, 2, 1. Guys, chicken glasses, smile and sit. Like a pack shot. Chick, smile and sit. There we are. And you know, you can finesse, but essentially what we're letting you know is, look how little stuff we have in the studio, and look where we've gone to without all the fucking hassle. You know, and that's sort of one of the, no carbon, no hassle, no cables, no trucks, no vans, no bullshit, no parking permits, no flights, no visas, no fucking quarantine, no COVID, well, you could have it, you know. But do you know what I mean? It's just, for something this simple, why go to that pain in the arse location? Why not spend the money on doing another scene after this? You know, and so, yeah, well, I tell you what, we could do an event. Why not improve their product, improve their commercial? You know, by saying, look, I can do another shot. I do this shot, that shot, this shot. And we just swung 2 lenses and done a little simple trap. You know, if you shoot the shit out of this scene, you can do 16 shots without a problem at all. You know, that's like, you know, in 2 hours. And you haven't got any people running around problems. So, any other thoughts? Any other questions? Say that again, sorry. Right. So what you do is basically in Unreal, the room would have been built as a whole room, just like a normal room. And so here in the digital world, there would be just like a normal room. There'd be the back of this room here. So what you do is, okay, you've got this shot. Let's turn that around and put that on the back wall, and then have the girl walking in. So you have that shot. You just it's like imagine a shin box as your room, just like a normal set of the theatre design. And we're now looking this way at the table. All you do is you keep the camera there, but you turn the world around to look at the back wall, and then she walks into that shot. And then you cut to this, and she walks in and sits down. You see what I mean? But how do I do that now? So, well, we need to unwind it. But essentially, you would walk in, and just walk in and sit down from here. See? But we would have turned the world around, and the shot turned walking that way. You just flip the world. Does that make sense? Yes, question, sir. Yes, yes. So every now and then you can catch the tracking line. Yeah, it's because it's registering itself and digging itself out. It's because we actually moved it when we set up all the monitors. Sometimes it leaves, sometimes you can stop, reset, and off it goes again. But normally it's fine. But every now and then you can see, when you talk about the little line, you can see the traffic line. But the other thing you can see, which I mentioned before, but maybe you can't see quite so clearly, yeah, you can't quite see it. You see there's a cluster line, which is the inner stuff before it goes within the outer stuff. Any other questions? Yeah, that's the way it's been built in Unreal. So you would need to go before the shoot and figure that out. You can figure it out now, but you're using up time on your shoot day. You might do that on your test day. So on your test day, you'd say, make that a little darker, make that a little brighter, make that a little duller, and play around with it. That's why the test day is important. Because everything is tested, set, lock it, set, walk away, come back in the morning, it's all still there. It can be, yeah. So again, it's like a scale. I should have mentioned that. Well, it's a bit more to the eye. So what I often do, and what you can do, so the first thing is when you build the scene, you have these digital models of people. You put them in the scene when you're not here, but when you're in the computer. And you look at them and they're the right size for the scene. So, okay, well, I've got that. And then, when you come in here, you can have them on the wall, and you look at it and go, okay, that's the size of the human in the digital world, and then you match it into the real world. And then you click them off, they're gone, and you've got the real human in the world. But again, it's by eye. So what I often do is I have someone, and I stand them in the room, And then I move the background forward and back, okay, and then I move the thing forward and back to where they want to be. It's tight or wide or mid shot. Move them back. There's a little bit of, like, you can move the background, you can move it back, it depends on how you want it to be, but it's adjustable. It's adjustable until you feel it's right. I feel personally that my background's a little soft here, but oftentimes then yeah, they need a little bit. Yeah, I mean, anything is infinitely changeable. But for now, to give you, well, what's that? Yeah, but we have to move all the lighting with it. Yeah. We can. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can move the 3D image back or forward, but it's yeah. Again, you do it by eye. So you do a bit of both. Put the table in, move that until you feel right, and then you move the table until it feels right. So that it's a balance between the two. It's a little bit of a balance between the two. And normally, it works. You get it just fine. But what we can do, shall we change to another scene?
Yeah,
Okay, so what we're going to do now is you'll see quickly how we'll change to another scene. So this is called our advertising scene. And then we're going to go to something which is a little bit more fantasy, beautiful, dare I say Bollywood? I don't know. But, a bit more glamorous, let's say. Okay? And we'll show you how quickly we can do that. So let's make that change. So, let's take that. So art department, get rid of the table, please. Change the light, and if you look at the time, you'll see how quickly we can do it. We prep it beforehand, so you can see how quickly it changes. Now, in your script for this TV commercial, you might have said, couple drinking orange juice in the morning, and then they go and have footballing for dancing. You like that? Are you enjoying it though? Are you finding it interesting? Yeah. You guys finding it? You love it? Sorry, I don't take myself seriously. So I've been director for 30 years. We do all kinds of stuff for 30 years. Oh, and I don't look at it. But I think the best way to do any of this kind of work is try to enjoy it, appreciate it, don't be a beginner, don't think you know it. Really keep learning. So, and that's why I do this. So I've got 27 days. And I've big clients. If you saw that big bank, international big story.
मनी थोड़ा सेंटर
After this, we're going to break for quite a week. We're going to show you the car shop, and the wife of the but you'll see that's after that. It won't take long. And it's interesting to see what we do with the lights, how we do it, what we do with the same stuff.
art ये आउट होगा
लोकेशन बदल दिए जज्बात बदल दिए इंसान बदल दिए रेंडर बदल दिए नॉइज बदल दिए
हुआ क्या मेरा रिकॉर्ड है? हाँ लाइव है।
Camera lock.
बोलो बोलो मेरे को चालू है वही है मैंने उसको उड़ा दिया माया में ले गया तीन दबाया फिर इसे पूरा स्मूथ हो गया पॉलीगॉन को साथ कर दिया
वही है
माया माया चला रहे थ्री दबाया
देखिए यहाँ बैठ जाओ ये है ना इधर नेहा की जगह नेहा ऊपर बैठ नेहा तुम थोड़ा ऊपर शिफ्ट हो जाओ नहीं नहीं यहाँ पे भी जगह है ना तुम बैठो
Now,
अंदर गया था
Service off, please. Service off.
Turn the house lights off, please. Thank you.
अभी जितना भी वो प्लास्टिक वॉशरूम का देखो अभी मेरे पास 5 मिनट
स्टूडियो में होगी मैं का मतलब कर मिलेगी ना मैं 2 घंटे लगा से 3 घंटे तो दादर से आती हूँ ना मेट्रो करके फिर भी दूर ही है मैं ठंडे में आऊँगी वो बाजीराव मस्तानी फूलों मुझे ना इतना तुम्हारा काम
Okay, my set is ready. Are you guys ready?
Okay, so
Adala.
we have finally Good set, thank you. Good set, thank you. So, what you can see is very quickly there, we turn into something a little bit more glamorous, very little bottles. You might want to do a scene a bit like this. Could be commercial, something else. I just said to the guys, they have a ballroom actor, I said, okay, let's put some simple lights in, do something, smaller, tighter noise. And we'll get our two lovely ladies to come down. Come on, lovely ladies, where are you? Lovely girls, hello. Hello, why are we waiting? Where are the ladies? Hello. Hello. What were they doing?
क्या बन की बन रही है अरे एक छोकरी
कॉल आया था
Go to the camera pan.
Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Come on, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Thank you. Okay. So as I said, try and get something a bit more intimate.
Can you just hold the camera?
A bit more intimate, a little bit more glossy, a little more sexy. Could be hairspray, could be a musical scene, could be something a bit more, feminine. I don't know. Could be a dance number. And potentially a little bit more musical weight. Can we get the girls on set, please? Thank you. And we have our two beautiful actresses. And the ladies, remember, ladies, thank you. Into our little mini set. Thank you. Okay. So here they are in our little set. In the middle. Yeah, come slightly closer.
really
Okay. And what we'll do now is we'll just track the camera around and slightly. Okay, but and it's got head height. So, obviously we're trying to do everything live like a show, but there's obviously little things you need to check and just test. But the theory is that you've seen how quick that was to change. So you could have had all of this prepped in advance, you could have changed this in 20 minutes, half an hour, and you could be shooting this for the rest of the day. You wouldn't have to go to the ballroom, you wouldn't have to do all that other stuff. You've done it all, didn't you? Or you could have gone, okay, enough of that, 2 hours of shooting, that's enough, we've covered every angle, let's bring in another set.
Yeah, go to the pan. Just pan.
And the thing, one of the things about virtual production is it works better, slightly better for fantasy, slightly better. And that's why all of the kind of Star Wars, Star Trek, Mandalorian, blah, 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 all those shows use it, because it creates its own world. Reality is good, you can do reality, but it just takes you a little bit longer. But what this does is it can sell you a kind of fantasy world very quickly. And you can be more creative and better looking and more beautiful. Reality is like whatever. So, but it will help you create a better, more fantasy world. Thank you. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Are you happy to move? Are you happy to move the camera?
तुम्हें भेजते ही क्यों है लोगों को बुला के
come up a little on the cue. Come up a little. Come up a little on the cue. That's it. Sit down. Get the lights right in front of them.
हाँ मैं थोड़ी देर में नीचे आती हूँ
Okay, so ladies, let's jump. So we'll wheel around the track.
हाथ नहीं आ रहा हाथ छोटा है मेरा
Let's have a go. So 3, 2, 1. Dolly the camera. Ladies moving around. Come closer to us. And move Dolly the camera. And then pull the focus from the close light. Now go to the ladies. Pull focus to the ladies. And then as we come off the lights, go round to the back wall, pull focus to the back wall, back wall to focus, pull focus to the foreground wall, and the glass in the foreground of the ladies. Come around this round slowly to the ladies. And you can see it looks rich, it looks romantic, it looks pretty damn good, right? And that's a very easy thing to set up. Looking up at the stars, coming back, pull focus to the light in the foreground light in focus please. Very nice. And then let's go back to the ladies. Ladies, come close to the camera. Ladies, walk to the camera. Get the light on your faces, ladies. Stop there and look up, ladies. Look up at us. The ladies look nice. Come a little and then pull focus to the back wall, background. And then come forward by the ladies to the foreground. And then go back to the ladies. Looking good on the ladies. Come closer to the glass, ladies. Come closer to the lamp. Step towards the camera. That's it. Hold it there. There we go. Come closer to the camera. Come closer to the camera, ladies. Step towards the camera. That's it there. There we are. And you see what we're doing is we're combining the real light from these lights and the light in the background. And we can pull focus both forward and midground and background. Pull focus to background. Background. There we are, you see. And now, and the lights in the background are looking good. Now come forward to the foreground by the ladies. By the lovely, sexy, beautiful light. How do we feel about that, boys and girls? Keep doing that journey. This way.
दुबला करने बोल रहा आगे का तो स्टाइल बता अरे और नीचे जाएगा ही नहीं ना अरे आगे का तो आगे का इतनी हेयर लूज कर दो
नीचे करना है
हाँ
लास्ट इतना नीचे जाते
नहीं तेरी नीचे शायद कैमरा लेंस नीचे का रहती थी दूसरे तक नहीं है फिर अरे ये पूरा निकल गया नहीं बरोबर करू होती हूँ मैं सही करती
Like we're talking about
मैं सही करती
discovered something kind of shocking. Have a little chat.
अभी इसको थोड़ी
You can imagine the camera tracking slightly here.
टाइट कम भी और आखिरी
So how do you feel about that, good gentlemen and ladies in the DOP department? We liking this? We like this more than the kitchen scene. You can see it's the same thing. Very minimal props, but you get quite a lot of value in the camera. And of course, more props, more lights, more people, you know, but we obviously limited resources, which is pretty much to you. And we made something quite small, not something quite expensive. You know, you can easily see that in a TV commercial or
or a movie or whatever. And again, you can play with this. You can colour it. You also can change the background. You can spin the background if you wanted to. Have the background rotating. You can set the background digital to have it spinning around. You know, you can go from dark to light. You know, you can do all sorts of things. But what's nice is the practicality of the real practical life and the digital world. You know, this ties together quite well. And that's because it's a slightly fantasy world. It's also low light, which camera and so if you were to finesse the original scene again, closer to this, and you can see you got the idea. You get the idea of this. Any other questions on this? Yes.
How we can give the passing dialogue.
People walking. Yeah, you have just people walking around. Just like this.
What is this?
Yeah,
The corridor. In the corridor. I'm saying the corridor. Corridor. Behind the.
Yeah, well, that again, that would be digital. That you'd have to build that. Everything that's on the wall is digital. Everything on the wall, so you build that with that in mind. Okay, I want some people in there. But also, if you have some extras, like me and people go and be extras. Yeah, that'll work. So we could be extras. Like when on your big movie, you would have 30 extras standing around in the back. Can you see us? Yeah. So we would be extras. We would be the boyfriends and the lovers. And you see us, and the camera tracking around, putting focus on us. I look amazing, right? I look amazing. Do I look like George Clooney? Do I look like George Clooney?
Yes, of course.
Look back at the camera. So you see, and we look kind of in the right place. The lights are working on us, yeah? Do we still look okay? Better than okay, Alan.
This is a very good example of the frustum. To understand the frustum, the camera movement. You see the parallax. Here when the camera is rotating, you see the frustum moving.
And you can see that the bit outside, so this is rendered for the camera through the lens, and the bit that's not rendered is slightly more digital. But on your real movie, you would have, 20 people walking around in the background. You'd have more props. You have more furniture all in here. You have other stuff, people walking around. You get another layer of depth. Remember what I was saying before about layer of depth? So when you might have more furniture in the background. Guys going violin, someone having drinks, or I don't know what it is, a rickshaw or a horse or someone. Yes. Can make the background more blur or yeah. Of course, yeah. You can just offset it. You can offset it as much as you want. Yeah, when you plan the scene, again, you do that. You look at it and you go and you try it. You just say, can I see that like times 10 out of Photoshop? And you can just try it. Yeah, all those kind of offsets you can play with. You just build it in. It's just technology. You just say, I want it offset. So when it thinks it's in focus, you can have the background change on that. So all that stuff is possible. But it's all right, right? Yeah. Let's do a track up and down. Yeah. Show me, let's do a bit of tracking. Let's do a bit of jigging up and down. Yeah, of course. Do jig anyway. Normally, you have steady cam. Everything I shoot, I normally have on steady cam. You go in, you go out, and try to adjust. So you start off with a tight shot, you come back. Most of the stuff I showed you before, that's all steady cam. And quite often, and in America, they use a lot of cranes. And on the reels, and they do all that. And because it's all happening live, you can all adjust for when it's moving live. So you come and yeah, I think I see you do move. Girls keep talking, looking sexy, beautiful. 3, 2, 1, girls, action.
Jolly down and track as well. When you track and dolly down, so you're moving in the right place. If you dolly down and jib down and track, is that too much information for one man?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just one day of prep.
Yeah.
हेलो
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah,
स्तुति
you
बोलते
can go
बोल
anywhere.
बोल
The camera up, down, left, side, in, out. It's all live.
काय कंटेंट है
So, and quite often, when I'm in a situation like this, I would take the camera off and get the DOB just walk around with it, find a shot, just like you would normally. You just find a shot with the camera, look at it, like that. Some steady cam you can use. Or just
अरे
on the
नाही
dolly,
रे मी
walking around.
लिहित होते तेवढ्यात कोणतरी बोलवलं आणि गेली कोणाचा धक्का बिक्का लागला असेल त्याला ना आपण लाईव्हला डाउनलोड करू शकतो ना आणि फोन ॲक्च्युली लाईव्ह चालू होता ना फोन आला म्हणून ते बंद झालं आणि मला पोस्ट करावं लागतं ऐक मी काय सांगते ते आपण काढू शकतो ना ते डाउनलोड करणं लाईव्ह आणि आपण ते काढू शकतो ना डिलीट करू शकतो ठीक आहे चालेल मी करते पण आता आता दुसरी लाईव्ह चालू आहे रे एक काम कर ना मला पाठव ना त्याचं क्रिडेन्शियल्स याच्या ह्या लॉग इन कसं करू ते मला सांग पण माझ्या फोनमध्ये पण फेसबुक लाईव्ह चालू आहे हेमाच्या फोनमध्ये यूट्यूब चालू आहे आम्हाला पोस्ट करायला सांगते फक्त त्याचं कॅप्शन एडिट करून टाकतो अरे मग मी देते ना राजा कॅप्शन तुला हो मी देऊ शकते मी कंटेंट रायटर आहे फॉर युअर काइंड इन्फॉर्मेशन
Yeah, so we're going to have a break. You guys are going to get some delicious food.
हो
Well, I can't guarantee how delicious it is. All the food I eat is
असेल तर मी एडिट करेन ओके
and then we'll come back and show you the party. So before you go, any other questions regarding this? I'll come a bit before and then the food is through there, guys.
Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. The food, the snacks are towards the fourth floor. So my team is going to help you. So can you please follow us? I am here and I used to be a trainer.